Bang! Yeah, 7-1-3, don't step in this league, throwing rocks out the backboard. Living our dream, better dribble to the three, take the shot, here a cash draw. And we don't even care what you say, we ain't scared of the hate, get a win in this last more. Stand in the paint, better clear out the way, hit the court with the black force energy. Every single week on a killing spree, you kidding me? You talk about winning with the epitome, you better be talking with peace, and we locking the key on them. Know that it's rocking with Ryan and Donte, the drip guy, we beyond the gossip, the topics we talk on a pop, and we conquering the obstacles that we cross as a team. Shot from the seats, we the Rockets like Elon. It's the H-Town run down. Let's get started right now.
Hey everybody, this is Preston with H-Town Rundown, Houston Rockets basketball podcast. And today I'm running a little solo pod. It's going to be a blast. Maybe someone surprises us, but we're going to have fun, right? Thank you for joining us today. Follow us at the H-Town Rundown, at the HTRD on Exos, Instagram, YouTube, and check out the TikTok at the H-Town Rundown. And be sure to follow me at drip2ps_GAWD on X as well as Instagram and YouTube. Now, it's been a while, and hopefully we can get down to business today. And we got a lot to talk about. Post-Allstar break, and we've got a couple wins under our belt. Right now, we are 7-3 in our last 10, 5-2 over the last 7. I'm pleased with some of the changes I'm seeing with the team. I'm pleased with some of the things that have been happening on the court, off the court maybe, but it's been a good time. Post-All-Star break, we face Miami, Washington. We're going to face Golden State here tomorrow, and then we've had some positive changes. Ime's using this up here, making some good moves. Finally. So let's go ahead and talk about it right away, right out the gate here. First game we played against the Miami Heat. Shout out Ryan, by the way. He's not here right now. He in class. Yeah, man, you're not targeted. Don't worry about it. But shout out your favorite player because your team over there ended up winning. We faced Miami, and unfortunately, Miami ended up beating us 115 to 105. And looking at the stats here, if we stat sheet watching, not a great game overall. Okay, not phenomenal. However, there's some good and some bad to take away from this. KD had a nice little 32 piece. He decided to take more than 15 shots. He was also Mr. Efficiency Man. Ended up shooting 60% from the field. Cool. Not great from three, but, he's taking them. That's what I care about, right? What did Miami do well? What didn't we do well? Overall, we just wasn't making shots. Both out, we wasn't making shots. We had a lot of wide open shots. We kind of, we had that little tussle, right? Tyler Herro got something to say. Kevin Durant called him up to his face, something about Tyler Herro and always having a problem. He didn't say nothing to them, man, right? We know Herro a little afraid of that boy, Ben Thompson, because he a dog, and Tyler Herro don't know what a dog is, unfortunately. Fortunately for him, I guess, for us. And, so huge issue there. We ended up kind of taking a beating, not just there, but also on the rebounds too, right? I mean, yes, we did have 47 rebounds, really great, but the energy was just not there from the entire game, unfortunately. And a thing that I noticed that was a bit of a problem was the rotations, right? We threw Josh out there in intervals and times I wasn't a fan of. We also had Dorian Finney-Smith out there for way too long for the production that he was giving. Again, yes, he's coming off an injury. Yes, he's still trying to work his way to playing with the team completely. But, I mean, after you've played 20 games with the team, you figure you'd be on top of it about now. So that's another problem there. Another thing I'm looking at as well is, Reed Shepard, not efficient. Şengün, not efficient. Tyrese, not efficient. Jabari Smith Jr. is also out tonight, unfortunately, and it did feel like we were missing him, but it is what it is at the end of the day. You're also looking at the plus-minus column, too, and the guys that played the most minutes had the worst plus-minus, besides Reed, I guess, which is an okay takeaway. The only person that had a really good plus-minus was Jeff Green, by the way. 45-year-old Jeff Green, who has been part of the stay-ready crew. He's played less than 10 games this year for us, and he was very solid. Hit a little trailing three, hit a trailing mid-range for us that we needed. Had a fat dunk too, took some good shots, got 4 boards as well, got some offensive rebounds for us that we needed. I would have liked to have seen less of Jeff and more of anybody else on the court, but I mean, when you're down a quarter of your team, what do you do at the end of the day, right? I will say one of the good things about this was Reed Shepherd got quite a few shots up. Again, not efficient, I know, but getting the opportunity is what's always important. Shooting 4 for 11 from three, you don't like to see that necessarily, but I mean, that is 36%. That's kind of what we're asking for at this point. Reed also ended the game with 5 assists as well, and he didn't have any turnovers. So that's also a plus, right? Really solid game from him, too. I do got to give him some props. He got to the line, didn't necessarily hit anywhere near as many as you would have liked, but overall he was aggressive. He got some rebounds, and he fought through a lot of contact in that game. He didn't really get rattled, right? Played some solid defense overall. I would say, post-All-Star break, one of the better men games we've had. And then I feel like Reed being on the court allows Amen Thompson to kind of be able to solidify his own role and be a little more selective in when he plays defense, or rather play more defense and less on-ball reps, right? Because shout out Roosh, by the way, and what we've been saying on the podcast, Amen looks a lot better off ball. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? So men look a little bit better off ball, and then Reed Shepherd running the show looks pretty solid. So going forward, and this is alluding to that starting five. This is the starting five I do want to talk about. Is once Jabari Smith Jr. is back and we are a little bit more relatively healthy, this lineup here, but Tari Eason is on the bench and you're starting Jabari Smith Jr. I like this lineup. Reed Shepherd brings a lot of good things to the team. And honestly, 6th Man of the Year campaign needs to be going strong. And if not that, then most improved player. Reed has been at all levels absolutely phenomenal. I've appreciated his attentiveness, his energy, his tenacity, right? Not being afraid to shoot shots like he was last year, right? He was very timid last year, right? He was a rookie. I get it, man. I get it. But this year 2, I mean, he's playing like the number 3 pick. He's doing exactly what we're asking him to do and more. And I can't wait to talk about the next game because, man, he was great defensively. But last bit here is Kevin Durant, 32 points he had in this game. And then he tied Kobe Bryant for most 30 pieces in a career. And then in the next game, I mean, just washes that and has another career high, which is just, or another career 30-point game, which is just absolutely insane to me. Kevin Durant has been electric this year. He's been consistent, obviously the most consistent player on the team. I feel like that's not crazy to say. But let's move on. So we took a loss to the Miami Heat, whatever. We know why we ended up losing that. Come around, turn around, we ended up facing the Wizards, and I mean, the score don't say how bad we just kind of whooped them, in my opinion. Maybe I'm biased here. I am running a Rockets podcast. We ended up beating them, 123 to 118. And it was, again, a solid game all around. Kevin Durant, another 30-piece, passing Kobe Bryant for most 30 pieces, or for 5th most 30 pieces of all time in a career. That's absolutely insane. Kevin Durant doing crazy things. Amen Thompson, solid game. Did a lot of good off-ball stuff here, right? Reed Shepherd heading the rock pretty well, near triple-double, right? Had 19, 10 assists, 23 turnovers, and 7 rebounds. And then he had 6 steals and 2 blocks in this game. Gosh, damn. What more do you want from Reed Shepherd? One more. Reed Shepherd's doing everything you're asking him to do. He's doing even more than that on pretty solid efficiency, and then being a really solid distributor despite his age, right? Or despite his tenure in the league. And then again, Amen Thompson, solid game for him, ended up with a good 22 and 12. I liked what I saw, solid defense. And then Şengün. I don't know who dude was in the paint, but I can't remember why. Because Şengün ate on this man. Absolutely, dude. Good little 32 and 13 on him. Now, he did have quite a few turnovers, right? Him and Kevin Durant combined for 14 turnovers. But we got to look at that. We're going to talk about the positives right now. And the next thing I want to talk about is Şengün's free throw percentage. Pretty solid, 8 out of 11 for him. That's a much better than average game from the free throw line. Hopefully that continues upward. We've seen some inconsistencies still throughout his entire career from the free throw line. And I mean, if you're going to be bad at one thing, hopefully it's not the free throw line. So hopefully that does continue to improve. But overall, I mean, we shot 86% from the free throw line. We missed 4 of them. 3 of those came from Şengün. So you live and die by that. But Kevin Durant, again, 30 and 7, pretty solid game. Tari Eason, a grit and grind game. He had a really good steal in that quarter. I think it was the second, third quarter. Pretty solid. And I liked his energy, his tenacity on defense, as per usual. And this is the kind of energy that really reinvigorates the bench, right? This kind of energy reinforces the bench players to come in and play even harder. And that's why I think Tari needs to be that sixth man going forward. And I think Reed should be starting. Right? This is why it makes more sense for Jabari to start, in my opinion. Now, I love me some Tari Eason. I think he's doing great in this role, and I appreciate what he's been doing in this role. I just think he's going to be a little bit more better, and his energy could be a little bit more useful on the bench because we don't have an energy guy. We asking Dorian Finney-Smith to do what? we asking Clint Capella to come out and already be Steven Adams, which he's doing okay. You know, he got 8 rebounds in 11 minutes. That's Steven Adams. You know, didn't get a block, but he was a paint presence, right? But hopefully we can see a little more of that. And I was actually kind of surprised to not see J.D. Davison in this game. We were looking for some steady offense at one point and just wasn't getting it in ebbs and flows. And then, you know, we'd obviously go back to Şengün and KD and Reed and Amen, your main four that would just be able to continue to score at any given point. But then when we got away from any one of those guys, we just couldn't do a whole lot on the offense. I mean, if you're looking directly at the stat sheet here, I mean, no one on the bench shot over 50%. I mean, 33% across the board. And then Josh Kogi only got 1 shot in 9 minutes, which, I mean, and that have 4 fouls on him too was not, I don't think, the best use of Josh Kogi's talents, especially because he was getting DNPs a couple games in a row to come back, had 2 solid games, and then he's back to barely playing meaningful minutes, you know. But one of the things about being a coach is it's hard to figure out where or when, I suppose, you're supposed to be able to get your guys in these spots, right? What kind of minutes are they playing? What minute rotations do I need to have them in? What is their norm versus what do we need for the team? I understand that's a lot to take into account, and not doing great. However, Ime-led teams have historically done pretty well during the post-All-Star break, right? Saw with Boston, saw with us, you know, last couple of years, and then here we are in the next year and doing solid, I would say, pretty solid. And hopefully that trend continues to go upward for sure. Last thing I want to say on this is Dorian Finney-Smith played 27 minutes. That's just one time on the rotations thing, right? Josh could have played in those minutes. He could have played Tari a little bit more in those minutes. I mean, he only played 23 and a half, right? I mean, yes, he went 4 of 11. I don't care, bro. Tarisin could have played more, and we would have been just fine. Again, J.D. Davison would have been okay. Aaron Holiday played 20 minutes and didn't do a whole lot but get a bucket, right? A bucket and a foul. Could have used J.D. Davison. I think his energy would have been really solid for this game, but I digress. So that is total coverage of the last 2 games we played. I know that was kind of quick, cut and dry. But one last thing I want to discuss before I end up getting to our final topic. The starting lineup of Reed Sheppard, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., and Alperen Şengün. Why am I so high on that? One, instead of Amen running point guard, right? Which, not saying he's been bad, but at times it feels like he's struggling too much, focusing too much on trying to just distribute the ball, try to get to this person, which I understand that is the point of a point guard. However, Amen's strengths come off ball, right? His strengths come from playing primary defense. If his number 1 and number 2 jobs are defense and dunker spot, Amen Thompson is phenomenal. I mean, look how the Pistons use Asura Thompson, right? They're twins for a reason. Now, I'm biased. I think Amen Thompson is 2 levels above Asura Thompson, but Asura is also playing his role very well over there. I mean, they're, you know, either the first or second seed consistently over there, and he's been a dog on defense. He's going to make the all-defensive team this year for sure. Amen Thompson was all defensive member last year. His defensive metrics, his advanced plus minus, and then even his overall steals and blocks per game have gone down. His defensive field goal percentage has gone down as well. He's worrying about too many things, trying to do too many things. Hopefully going into this second part of the season here, right, the last third, I suppose, we can see Reed Sheppard take away some of those duties, right, become more of a point guard, which he's very clearly developed. He's very clearly shown that he has the capabilities of becoming a solid starting point guard in the league in the minutes we've seen him have. and continue that trend upward, while Amen Thompson can focus more defensively, get some boards, get some good boards, and dunk the ball, man. We don't have Steven Adams crowding the paint anymore. So we're going to have a lot more dunker spot opportunities. We're going to have a lot more DHOs even at the mid-paint section. And then, honestly, some backdoor plays. I don't know why we're not running more of those, but Alperen Sengun averages 11%. I guess, 11% of all his paint touches are assists, right? I just saw that stat from NBAstats.com. Hopefully, we can see and utilize more of that. Right, 11.4% of that is from Sengun, and then Amen Thompson even is 8.7% of his paint touches are turned into an assist. That's pretty solid, in my opinion. Right. Hopefully, we see more of that, and that trend continues up as long as Reece Shepherd's out there, and then we got some of our other key players back. Right. I think Jabari's been really solid this year, and not only been the second most consistent player behind Kevin Durant. Right. Jabari had that 8-game slide where he was not phenomenal. His defense was starting to slack, but then the last 3 games, his defense picked back up. His offense found its rhythm, and then it's all she wrote. So I haven't seen as many haters out there. I'm still looking, but I haven't seen as many haters to Jabari Smith Jr. since he's come back and been pretty solid for the team. And again, hopefully once he's back and he's good to go, just rest him up. Once he's back and good to go, we'll be moving forward. Let me know what you guys' comments are about that starting lineup of Reece Shepherd, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., and Alperen Sengun. I'm interested to see what you guys think. So go ahead and comment down below on the YouTube channel. I'm sure to give us a quick little follow, man, at the H Charity or at the H Rundown on YouTube as well. And click the little bell, man, so you can see it every time we decide to go live, man. We got a little question coming in from Prince Francis. I believe I'm saying that right. How far do you think we go into the playoffs? Brother. This team was supposed to be a championship team, right? Unfortunately, we had some injuries, and that appears to have changed the course of this team, focusing more on just getting wins. It sounds like we saw the presser at the All-Star around the All-Star break where Raphael Stone and Ime Udoka come up there saying, yeah, unfortunately, Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams have kind of derailed our chances of a championship, but you still got Kevin Durant. And I feel like throwing in the towel saying temper your expectations is kind of an easy way out, right? You should never tell me as a fan that, hey, we're going to suck this year, because the Sacramento Kings still got fans, right? If the Sacramento Kings still got fans, I don't think it's crazy to say that the Rockets, at minimum, are a second-round team, especially what we're playing right now, right? We get the starting lineup back. We get Jabari Smith Jr. back. Who's beating us in the first round unless it's OKC? Maybe the Nuggets. So, honestly, I think we're a second-round team at worst. At best, I think we are a Western Conference knockout. But no matter what, the floor is getting past the first round. I don't care if we're missing Kevin Durant. At this point, we need to be past that first round. You know, hopefully we don't miss him, of course, but there's no way we're not making out the first round, right? We can face the Clippers, cool. I don't care about that. We can face Portland, cool. I don't care about that, right? We can face Sacramento, my goodness. I don't really care about any of that, right? I'm not too worried about it. We're going to win in the first round. Second round, I'm a little more cautious about depending on matchups. That one's definitely matchup dependent. But second round, Western Conference Finals, I think, is our ceiling, right? And we're winning a championship. The Rockets fan of me says yes. You see that up there, right? The Rockets fan of me says yes. Is that going to happen? Maybe. Maybe. But I'll leave you with that, right? I think we're a second-round team at worst. So, but yeah, go ahead and comment down below your thoughts on the starting lineup. I'm interested in that. So last bit here is we have to face the Golden State Warriors tomorrow. I hate them. I really do. But you know what? They're missing some guys as well. I mean, their key player, they're missing Curry, so I'm not too worried about it at this point. And their leader in points right now is Brandon Podziemski, BP, I call him. We got Draymond, who's going to be out there too. I mean, are the Warriors doing anything without Curry? No. So I'm not worried about it. They're going to play hard defense, of course, right? They're going to get it with calls. We already know that. We know the Warriors and what kind of golden skin type energy they bring. So we got to worry about that. But Curry ain't out there. He's going to be on the sidelines clapping, and that's where he needs to be. So hopefully we can pull this dub. But that's that. The top things we need to worry about is just getting our rebounds because that's clearly our best strength. So Kevin Durant needs to get a few rebounds. Reed Shepherd, get you in position for some rebounds, and that's kind of about it. We know Şengün gonna get his boards. We know Tari and the men gonna get their rebounds. Clint Capella would honestly be really solid in this game too. He got history, of course, with us and being on the part of the 2017-2019 team facing Golden State in the playoffs. Hopefully, Capella can bring some of that old energy back and get us 10 rebounds off the bench. I would love that for sure. But yeah, so let's get some rebounds, some good energy, and then let's make threes, right? At the end of the day, the game's about baskets. And if you can make more than the other team, 9 times out of 10, you're winning. You got to win. So I would say rebounding, defensive tenacity, and threes. That's it. Simple as that. I know it's a little short episode today, and it's only 20 minutes, but that's all I got. So thank you guys for listening. Make sure you follow the H-Town Rundown at the HTRD on X, and then follow the H-Town Rundown at the H-Town Rundown on Instagram, as well as YouTube and Twitter. Check out the TikTok as well, and check out the website, man. We drop articles all the time over there, and the Texans side has a bunch of banger episodes they just released the last couple weeks. So make sure you go check that out too. Shout out Texans Pod, and then make sure you follow me at drip2ps _GAWD and X, as well as Instagram and YouTube. And that's all I got, man. I'll see you guys next time around the same time, and hopefully we talk about some more wins. See ya.